and I really want to apologize. We had to defer the class to 10 p.m. The class was originally scheduled for 9 p.m. tonight, but a little from here and there, network issues, and just we have to defer the class. But the good thing is that here we have the class is on, and we are having the class for tonight. All right. So with this being said, okay, we're taking the course POL124. It's a continuation of the previous class, so we're going to continue just from where we dropped the baton in the last class. Now today it's going to be history. The history of government. Government in different versions, explained in different theories, and the necessity of government. All this will be dissecting in tonight's class. So with this being said, let's go straight into it. So we have POL 124. POL 124. Okay, I think I seen something interesting on the comment section. Okay, we have Miss Regina said, Miss Regina, are you on the stream? She said, thank God, it's good to be here. Yeah, so sorry for the delay. And we have hello Ma. Okay, hello everyone. Okay, that's by Mr. Olu. Say it's good to be here. And we have not Bed of Roses. Say good evening, sir. It's good to have you all on the stream. So let's go straight into it. So we have origin and necessity. Origin and necessity. Origin and necessity of government. All right. What is the origin? Now we need to understand that the evolution. Okay, now we need to understand that everything has an history. Nothing just starts suddenly out of the blue. All right. Government has an history and want to trace its origin, and to get to the root of the history and the origin of government, we'll be applying series of theories, to look into this. Now let's take the very first theory, which is going to be the evolutionary theory. Evolutionary theory. Now, the evolutionary theory here posits that government originates from a family or clan-bound structure. According to evolutionary theory, family or clan-bound all right, family or clan-bound structure. Government, according to evolutionary theory, it posits that government originates from family or clan-bound structure. Now, this explains the formation of the world's biggest political structures. All right. Now we have that as that. Now, the earliest and the very loosely formed governments were as a result of shift from hunters gathering society to more settled. Now, the fact that we have families and clans, let's not forget in our former class we said, group of people charged with the responsibility of ensuring that there's peace, law and order in a community or in a society. There's a definite territory. Government has its particular, it works synonymously with the state, and government is all about the activity of the state. So now here we're talking about, instead of the state here, we're talking about families and clans. All right. So as a result of this, there was a shift from just hunter gathering society to a more settled agricultural society. To agricultural settled. Now, when we say evolution, just like I think it's in our psychology, when we're teaching psychology, I explained the term evolution to us. Evolution simply means the process involved in the transformation, the process involved in the changes of a particular phenomenon. Is what we refer as evolution. The process of transformation or the process involved in change. All right, and this is basically what it is. So from just being family clan structure, then it moved from in the earlier stage of men, it was all about hunting, and it then gradually moved to a more settled hunting, always moving, not fixed. You understand? But then gradually move and develop into a more settled agricultural settlement. All right, society. So we have that as that. Now, here, we said families and clan. Definitely, they are head of the families, and these leaders helped us to determine how to address issues. How to what? Address issues. All right. You can imagine this is how it all started before it now became something large that we have to have different institute agencies ensuring one thing, that the activities of the state go smoothly without being interfered, without any interference. All right. Now they help with determining how to address unfamiliar issues such as water rights, according to the society of those days, water rights for crops, irrigation, and distribution of other resources. That is just what it is basically. Distribution or sharing of what? Resources. There's always somebody to look up to. There's always a group, or a family, or a clan charged with that responsibility, to do what is required. Now, it increased. Now, with this structure in place, it increased. When we are talking about the evolutionary theory, with a structure like this in place, it increased, people in the society, in the more settled agricultural society. Then there was an increase in the sense of safetyness and security for the society. Sense of safetyness and security. All right, sense of safetyness and security in the rule based on membership in a ruling family. So we have that as that. Now, in the modern times, some governments continues to be led by succession. We said family or a clan bound is similar, is synonymous to family. This is what has been, but it's still kind of unfortunate that even in the modern times, we still have some government that is run based on successions of members of the same family. All right, succession of members of the same family. And a good example of that was the monarchy of the Saudi Arabians. Monarchy of the Saudi Arabians. Right? Monarch of the Saudi Arabian, the king who has descended from the throne, from his family since 1744. 1744. Right? We have that as that. Now, that is all about this evolutionary theory. We said it's a theory that explains government in the sense that government is said to be originated as a result of family or clan bound structure. Right? And we have that as that. Now let's proceed to the next one, which is force theory. Now, force theory is said to be the force theory espouses the idea that government originates from taking control of the state by force, and it's often found in a dictatorship type of government characterized by one person or one party authoritarian rule. Now let's take the key point. The key point in this theory is said to be that taking over power with force. Taking power with the use of force. Alright? And it's usually associated with the dictatorship kind of government, the authoritarian rule, the dictatorship government. Or right, we are live again. Now it's synonymous with dictatorship kind of government and authoritarian rule. So we have that as that under the force theory. Now this is as well can be referred to as, a kind of system where we refer to as coup. When government is civilian government or maybe military government is being overtaken, it's being toppled, overthrown, we refer to that as coup. Now, and we have an example of that. It occurred in Cuba in 1959 during the revolutionary Fidel of Castro and small force of guerrilla soldiers. All right, we have 1959 in Cuba. Example, 1959 at Cuba. Okay, so we have that as that. Now let's take the third one, which is the divine right theory. The divine right theory. Now this theory is specifically all about referring to governments originating with power vested on an individual by God or gods. By God, power vested upon an individual by God or gods. When they say government originates as a result of God or gods putting power, vesting power on an individual. All right. Now, generally, monarchs led governments of this type. Monarchs. It's characterized by monarchs. All right. Monarchs. Monarchs head governments of this type. All right. Now the theory was followed in ancient time during the ancient Egyptians and Maya. Ancient Egyptians and Maya. All right. So we have that as that. Now let's proceed. Get my duster. Now, the social. Now we are still on the divine theory, the divine or the divine right theory. Just like the name says, divine sees government as divine divine rights bestowed upon the leader by God Himself. Mr. Dwellers is going to have you on the stream. Okay, now we have King James I of England and several French monarchs and other rulers asserted that their authority came directly from God. King James I of England, all right, and several French rulers, monarchs, asserted the fact that their authority came directly from God. Now we have social construct theory. Now, the social construct theory here is said to be, a theory of government whereby results of centuries of frustration with the unchecked power of monarchs. Now, under this theory, government is a kind of contract. Okay, contract. Government is a kind of contract, all right, in which those in power have responsibility towards those they govern. Power responsible to electorate. Electorate in the sense that people that are in position of power are responsible towards those they govern. All right, respected the power of governing individuals. Now, this theory was developed in 17th and 18th century by philosophers such as Thomas Hobbes, John Locke, and Jean Jacques of Rousseau. All right, we have that as that. So that is all under the social construct. Now, okay, so basically we can relate the social construct to what we have like democracy. Democracy of our time, whereby those in power, it's their responsibility to take care of those they govern. It's quite unfortunate that it has been turned upside right. It's no longer to serve those they are responsible to, but they are now actually using the position to attend to their personal gain in most cases. All right, now, and just like we have the theory was developed in what 17th and 18th 17th and 18th century. All right, and 18th centuries. Nobody was complaining about my handwriting, so I'm particular about writing clearly now. All right, so we have by philosophers like Thomas Hobbes. By philosophers like Thomas Hobbes. We also have John Locke. Okay, we have John Locke. Also, we have Jean Jacques. All right, Jean Jacques. All right, so the philosophers that developed what we are referring to as the social contract theory. Okay, now let's proceed. Now, it is essential, it is necessary that we know that the founders of the United States, dwell heavily on social construct theory in construction of both Declaration of Independence and U.S. Constitution. All right. So what I just want to tell us here that some of the hardcore countries that dwell so much on this theory is the founder, founding fathers of the United States dwelt so much on this. All right, to the extent that the declaration of their independence and their constitution was as a result of it. And constitution was dependent on this. All right, so with that, let's move to the next thing, which is the necessity of government. Necessity of government. Okay. Okay, Miss Regina, I'm expecting your assignment. You are yet to submit your assignment. Mr. Dwellers, if you are still on the stream, you also yet to submit your assignment. Okay, I think I received an assignment from Mr. Olu and not Bed of Roses already. All right. Now let's proceed. The necessities. I think I should erase this as well. Necessity of government. All right. Necessity of government. So we have, what are the necessities? Why is it necessary? Why do we have government? What are the necessities? We're going to be looking at certain definitions from different philosophers about what they feel about the term government. Now, the idea of government, its origin and necessities are both bogus and revolutionary approaches. All right. Now, Aristotle, let's take that of Aristotle first. Aristotle said that government exists for man in society and it exists for the sake of the best life. According to Aristotle, now Aristotle here says that government exists for man. Okay, and exists for man in society, and it exists for the sake of best life. For the sake of best life. All right, it exists for the sake of best life. That is from Aristotle. Now, let's take that of John Locke. All right. John Locke. Now, John Locke maintains that the purpose of government is the preservation of man's life, liberties, and properties. The preservation of man's life, liberty, and properties. Okay, now, you can imagine in the natural state of man, we were made to understand in one of our classes then that it was brutal, that the life of men was short, man was very animalistic then. Mr. Jewelers, this course is actually one of the majors for the science of the political student of political science. One of their majors is not for business administration. ENT 102 is happening tomorrow. We are taking the course tomorrow, sir. not today. And I'm very sure that by next week, a lot of the old students were not really getting much, did not really get much from this week timetable. But I'm assuring us that next week, and I'm even pretty sure that we cannot even cover our materials all this week alone. You know, all many of our courses will extend to next week. And I believe that by the timetable to be deliberate this time, the timetable will favor more of the old students and the new ones coming. At least they have this week already. That's how we'll be trying to switch this thing so that it can go around. All right. So ENT 102 is for tomorrow, which is for student in the department of post admin. So we have that as that. So let's proceed. Now, according to John Locke, he said it is the preservation of man's life, liberty, and property. Now, Adam Smith also said something. Now, Adam Smith, in his book Wealth of Nations in 1976, 1976. Now, it says government serve the purpose. Now, sees the purpose of government in terms of threefold. All right, sees the purpose of government in terms of threefold. Now, it says first, protection of the society from foreign aggression. Protection from foreign aggression. That's the first thing it talked about. Protection from foreign aggression. All right. We also have establishment of an exact administration of justice, a justice system that works. Justice system. All right. And thirdly, he said establishment of certain public works and certain public institutions for general welfare. Okay. Institutions for general welfare. All right. So according to Adam Smith, this is what he opines. This is what he posits about government. So we have that is that. Now let's take that of Albert Spencer. All right. Now, Albert Spencer says government exists in order to prevent an individual from infringing the rights of another. Infringing on the rights of another. All right. So basically, it is what it is, and as we have seen here, different scholars as explained as giving their own view and angle, of the necessities of government. So according to Aristotle, he said it exists, for man in society and for the sake of having that best life. Now, John Locke says it exists, for the preservation of man's life. Liberty is liberty and is properties. And we have Adam Smith. Adam Smith said that it is for the wealth. Now, according to Adam Smith, in his book Wealth of Nation that he wrote in 1976, he said categorize these necessities of government, into three different places. Now, the very first one said the protection from foreign aggression. That is the necessity why government should exist in a state. Protection of foreign aggression, justice system is shown, for general welfare. All right, and we have the last one, which is Albert Spencer. He said it is the prevention of an individual from infringing on another's rights. Okay, so on this note, we'll call it a wrap for today. I want to say thank you to everyone, and I really apologize for the deferment of the time in the timing of the class. So thank you very much, everyone. And tomorrow is going to be our last day for the week for tutorials, and I look forward to seeing you in subsequent tutorials. Good night.